All right, guys, the Utah Jazz ended their two-game losing streak and get a pretty good win against the Charlotte Hornets. I just realized that I messed up uh the name of the show. Guys, let me just fix this really quick and then we'll get right into this. All right, guys, let's see. I just got to fix this. This is what happens when you go live. All right, guys. Utah Jazz get a nice win against the Charlotte Hornets. This is the Hoops Nerd post-game show, the Hoops Nerd Jazz channel. Guys, before we get into this, I have some things I wanted to tell you, some changes I'm going to make. So those of you who watch, and a lot of you guys watch this show regularly, one of the great things about this channel is the regular participation we get from so many people, from our all-stars and rookies and some starters out there who are amazing, and I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I created a second channel. So this channel now is just Utah Jazz. And I changed the branding a little bit. I'm going to tweak that a little more. I've got some adjustments I got to make. But I wanted to get it done because over the weekend I was going crazy. I was like, I've got to try something different. And I've talked about this before. I finally made the jump and I actually feel great about it. So this is the Hoops Nerd Jazz channel. And I now have Hoops Nerd Jazz. And then I have the Hoops Nerd NBA channel. This channel is going to basically stay the same, except it's just going to be Jazz. And really, I'm going to focus even more hyper intense on the Jazz, because that's what this channel is, and that's what people love who are watching this channel. So this is not changing anything for anyone who loves this channel. It's staying the same. I love it. I am always going to be doing these live streams because they're fun, but I want to grow. And if you all who are watching this, all you viewers, and I'll just ask this every show, if you can go and I put a copy or I put the link to the new channel below, we'll see who can be the first to subscribe. But if you all could go over and subscribe to my NBA channel, that would be amazing. I'm going to start putting videos up for there that are going to be non-Jazz related. But that's what I'm excited about, is that this channel, I can just be my fan self, and I'm going to try some new things with this. We may try some different types of shows. We'll see. But then on that other channel, it's going to be NBA. And I think like the analysis, the breakdowns, I want to do rookie rankings, power rankings maybe, dunk reviews, trash talk reviews, all sorts of things. And that's going to be on the other channel. So Jazz is here. All of us Jazz fans get to be excited about the Jazz and watch the Jazz and talk about the Jazz here. And this becomes like a Jazz hub. And then on the other channel, we do the NBA. So that can grow and have a subscriber base of other fans. Because for so long on this channel, I have just kind of had this conflicting thing where it's like Jazz stuff, NBA stuff. And it just feels like YouTube doesn't quite know what to do with this channel. So this Jazz channel is my guilty pleasure now, which is great. I get to just do Jazz talk about the Jazz, grow this for just Jazz fans. I may even just talk about the Jazz in post games. Who cares about the other team at this point? Who gives a crap? Everyone who subscribes to this channel doesn't care. Right? I mean, we'll get a few of those types of fans here and there, but this is a Jazz channel, and then the NBA channel is on the other one. And that one is going to be fun for me. It's going to be my outlet, and it's kind of my chance to grow there. Robert, Hall of Fame, thank you for subscribing. Robert, you might be the first subscriber to the new channel, and we'll see where it goes. But I'm excited about it. It's a little bit scary in some ways. I don't know why. You feel like you want to use this channel to grow, but I just think two channels is great. Lee Christensen, what's the channel name? So you can see the link below. I believe I put it in there. If I didn't screw that up, I already screwed up this show. Great show to screw up announcing a new channel. But yes, I put it in the description below. Lee, it's called Hoops Nerd NBA. The logo's not quite done, but I put new logo for this one and a logo for that one, and I want, that allows the Hoops Nerd Media Network, whatever this is that we're doing, to grow, because this is never stopping. We're gonna keep going, just like the Utah Jazz. This channel is gonna keep going strong. And I just want to make this a place for Jazz fans to go and talk about the Jazz, and we'll do more Jazz content and all sorts of stuff. And then the Hoops Nerd NBA channel will be NBA focus, And if you guys want to go subscribe to that, I would really appreciate it. Just help it get that first little bump. And then I'm going to just start doing the work. So go for there for like the breakdowns that I think are fun. If there's a breakdown that's Jazz related, I'm not quite sure if I want to put it here or there. I guess we'll have to figure that out as we go. But anyways, I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are. Although I hope you guys are just happy that this is your Jazz channel. And I think that's really fun. And who knows, maybe we'll do other channels. That if there's other guys out there who want to do a channel, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But for now, this is what it is. I feel much better. I feel just much better about this. I honestly feel at peace. Over the weekend, I'm just gonna be real with you guys. I was like depressed this weekend because I have put so much work into this channel. I put in so much work, guys. And thought and time, and sometimes it's just disappointing when you just feel like you're putting in this effort, and I feel like I have good content, and for some reason it's not growing. And I think it's because I have conflicting things that I'm doing. I'm still learning how to like grow things. We had that one video go viral, and I know why it did for some reasons, but there's other reasons why it did as well. So much of this is a grind, and you've just got to be able to do the grind. And you know what? If I was a single guy that could just do this all day long, it's easier that way. But I'm not. I have 4 kids. I have a wife. I'd like to stay married, and I'd like to have a relationship with my kids. And so I still have to kind of figure this all out. But anyways, that's long story short. I was really just bugged the other night. I went to bed at like 2:33 in the morning, just like frustrated. I was like subscribing to like multiple keyword services and all sorts of crazy things. And I was just like bugged, and I just the next day, you know what I did? And this episode is going to be a little bit more about me, sorry, and then we'll talk about the Jazz for sure. I watched John Boy Media. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get emotional or what, but John Boy Media, if you don't follow it, I personally love it, and I feel like it's something that I can kind of do an NBA version of that. John Boy does baseball. He sometimes delves into the NBA and all sorts of things. But he started off doing post-game shows for the Yankees and did that for a long time. He did post-game shows about after every single Yankee game. Remind you of anyone? Eventually, he had some good luck and all sorts of things happen, and he created John Boy Media. He has like John Boy Talking Yanks and all sorts of stuff. Anyways, that's kind of what I want to do. And I'm going to do my own kind of version of that. And I don't care if it's a little bit of a imitation. I love what they do, and I feel like I have the ability to do a little bit of what they do, but in my own version of it. And I want to do other things. I just have a lot of ideas. I'm going to try out all sorts of stuff, and I just want to have fun with it. And so that NBA channel is going to be for ideas and fun things, and maybe the occasional breakdown. I want to do one on Jonathan Kuminga because I don't think people are talking enough about Jonathan Kuminga, so I'm going to do a video about him. Anyways, guys, I just feel at peace with it. I'm excited about the future. I don't feel like I'm hitting my head against a wall anymore, and I can just enjoy this channel again. This channel has been like, I love this channel, and then it's also been a conflicting thing for me. Now I feel, and it's so simple. Everyone else probably doesn't care, but for me, this is one of those things where I just kind of had to like think it through, and so I feel at peace. I'm excited for the next step. And I appreciate all you guys kind of being there for me. But anyways, let's just talk about the Jazz. So they take on the Charlotte Hornets, who are at the end of their road trip. I believe they played yesterday as well. But it's interesting. If you go follow Ken Clayton on Twitter, you should. He's great. He gives like updates on flights. And I think the Hornets got in last night at like 9:30 or 10. So they weren't even in on that all that late. They come in, so they were well rested. They did look a little tired tonight, but by the end of the game, you could tell they were getting kind of that boost from coming back. And honestly, the end of this game felt like you were watching this same Groundhog Day episode where it's like the Jazz do this all the time. They've done this multiple times. Last 2 games, they get a lead, and the other team kind of comes back, takes the lead, and then the Jazz can't close them out in the fourth quarter. Just a tip of the hat to LaMelo Ball. I think he's great. I actually think the Ball family deserves so much better press than what they get. I know I forgot his name. The dad. Big baller brand. Anyways, I feel like he gets a bad rap because he has a loud mouth, but I actually think he's an excellent father, and he has raised like 3 really good sons, and has a wife with special, like with the disability that she has. And I think they get a bad rap. And I think LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball and Jello are great guys. And LaMelo Ball tonight, you can just tell the guy's just kind of a great guy. And I'm just rooting for LaMelo. Anyways, tonight he showed why he's special. 40% from the field, but he was 3 for 7 from 3 with 11 assists and 6 rebounds. The guy's a star. LeVar Ball. Thank you, Mountain Hobbler. LeVar, I think he's a great dad. I think he's a great husband. Like, I kind of feel like, he has a loud mouth, but so do I. And I just think that he is a great dad. I don't know. So I'm impressed with the Ball brothers. Lonzo Ball is a player I am so sad he's not on the Jazz, because I think they probably could have gone out and gotten him, and he would have been a great, perfect fit on this Jazz team. Anyways, I'm rooting for LaMelo Ball. I think he's great. And Miles Bridges is one of those guys I wanted the Jazz to trade up to get. He went mid-lottery, and you knew he was going to be awesome. And I think he's cooled off as of late. But man, he started off this season hot, where he had like 5 games to start the season where he was like 35 points a game or something. It was just bonkers. And he didn't do it tonight because of Rudy Gobert, but the guy has like one monster dunk every game. So anyways, the Jazz did a good job of slowing them down. But at the end of the game, Bojan had some interesting comments with his post game with Holly, where he just talks about how Scary Terry got hot, and that was definitely a part of it. And the Jazz kind of went cold. And, we saw the same story. We've seen it was almost Groundhog Day again. The last 2 games, the Jazz get a lead, and it just kind of whittles away because the other team kind of knows they can come back. And we talked about this before. It does feel like the teams that come and play the Jazz, they talked about an MO with the Jazz. I think the MO with the Jazz is that other teams kind of know that if you can just take that punch from the Jazz, because the Jazz do have the best offense in the NBA. Guess who has the number 2 offense in the NBA? The Charlotte Hornets. I was kind of interested to see how well they do, and they ended up coming back, and that's part of why they probably weren't that scared of Utah, because they know they can score a lot of points really fast, and they did. But anyways, lost my train of thought there. The Jazz that these teams kind of know that if they can just weather the storm with Utah, they can eventually work their way back in the game, because this Jazz team's defense, it just, you can find ways to beat the Jazz. You can find ways to score and get shots. If you move the ball against Utah, you will find shots. Because, Bojan, as great a shooter as he is, and he was awesome tonight, especially at the end of the game with his big threes. It's like a give or take with Bojan. He's awesome on the offensive end because of the shooting and the ability to occasionally get his own shot and things like that. But then on the defensive end, you can find ways to get him off your guy and get open shots. Same with Joe Ingles, and Jordan Clarkson and all these guys. So I just think that's the MO with the Jazz, and that's why, we'll see what happens at trade deadline. But teams know that they can kind of make a run against Utah, and that's what Charlotte did. Donovan Mitchell tonight, for whatever reason, the 3 hasn't been falling the last few games, and that's a part of the reason why the Jazz have skidded the last 3 games. Tonight they did get the win, which was nice to see, but it was kind of scary with like 2-3 minutes left that Charlotte gets that 1-point lead, and it's like, here we go again. You even started to hear boo birds from the Jazz crowd. I think it's interesting. I think the 2 stat lines, the Jazz were able to win despite Donovan Mitchell going 35% from the field, and Mike Conley quietly struggling a little bit lately, 4 for 13 from the field. Donovan goes 2 for 10 from 3. Mike Conley 2 for 8. So this game really shouldn't have been as close as it was, and Utah also, again, weirdly, 28 for 37 from the free throw line, 75%. That's not horrific, but 75% when you have Rudy Gobert shoot. Let's see, Rudy Gobert tonight from the free throw line was 15 for 16, and that's kind of why the Jazz won this game. 16 free throws, Rudy Gobert only missed 1. I mean, that right there won the Jazz the game. Because here's what's strange. Donovan Mitchell misses 3 free throws, 5 for 8. Bojan Bogdanovic misses 2 free throws. Bojan Bogdanovic 2 for 4, 50% from the free throw line. Really bizarre. Rudy Gay took a free throw and missed it. Really weird. So, let's see. Gosh, I can't talk. Rudy Gobert getting those free throws was a massive part of this victory. Rudy Gobert really was the reason the Jazz won this game. It's weird. It's funny. They put that stat up at the beginning of the game where Rudy Gobert has like a historical statistic of 50% or better. And it looks like he lost that because tonight, Rudy Gobert, 4 for 10 from the field. You do not see that ever. And tonight, it looks like the streak was broken. If you guys are sad over streaks, I know the Jazz love the 3-point streak from Jordan Clarkson, but that mercifully ended. Let's see. Rudy Gobert, 23 points, 21 rebounds, 93% from the free throw line, 15 for 16. I promise you, he's going to miss 4 or 5 free throws next game. It always happens. Rudy Gobert has these streaky nights where he'll have a night where he's not going to miss a free throw. And then he kind of, for whatever reason, the next game, it'll just kind of come back to the mean a little bit. But 15 for 16, you've got to give Rudy Gobert just big props for that. 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal for Rudy Gobert. He's the reason they won the game. I think it's interesting. Rudy Gobert was a +4 in the game, while all the other starters were a +13, +13, +18, and +19. That is interesting. It must mean that I wonder if that's just lineup changes. So Rudy must have been with the bench, and I don't know why that is. That's interesting. It makes me want to rewatch the game and kind of why is that not as high as the other players. Bojan Bogdanovic hit those big shots at the end. And also, you've got to give big time credit to Jordan Clarkson, who lately has been playing much more efficient. 4 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3 from Jordan Clarkson, 11 points. That shot is falling for him. Robert Hall of Fame, thank you. Here's some dough for the new channel. Thank you, Robert. Honestly, what it's going to take is that helps, and maybe I'll put that $5 towards a Google campaign or something. But what it's going to take is me grinding out content. And so I'm just going to have to start trying. My goal is to do maybe 2 to 3 videos a week. That's for me a lot, and that's outside of doing this channel. But I want to do it. And when I see things that I think are funny, you want to know the trick to YouTube? It's there's multiple things. One of them is promptness, at least with sports channels. So when something weird or quirky or funny or awesome happens in the NBA, the quicker you can get something up about that thing, the better. You have to have it tagged and SEO'd really well. And I've learned how to do that a little bit. It's still a learning process, and I have things I subscribe to help me do a better job with that. But sometimes it's that promptness. It's that good thumbnail, good content. It's like, you can have a beautiful restaurant that can be in the best area. The food has to be good. So you got to do good content. And that's something that I'm just also working to improve every day. And there's lots of other things. Time of video, things like that. I don't know. There's all sorts of things, and just consistent content, all sorts of things. And so anyways, the grind is what we're going to do. Rudy Gay is still struggling to shoot the ball lately. 2 for 11 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. That'll come around. But I just think this is actually a more impressive win. You know what? We didn't do this. Why didn't we do this, guys? Should have brought this up. This was actually fun. I should have been doing this. I'm still growing, guys. Come on. Still learning here. Anyways, Rudy Gay goes 2 for 11, 1 for 5. The more I look at these stats, the more impressive this win is to me. That Utah had an off shooting night from Rudy Gobert, basically, other than the free throw line, which is amazing. Honestly, this is one of the more impressive nights from Rudy Gobert to me, just because of this. Donovan Mitchell has a bad shooting night and still managed to get 6 assists and 6 rebounds. This is exciting right here, combined with the 2 turnovers. This 6-to-2 assist to turnover ratio is a big deal. That is a big deal, and that's something to watch. He's been doing a better job with this. And one of those, the ball just fell out of his hands. It wasn't like a bad pass. One of those was just like In fact, let's just watch the 2 turnovers and see what they were. One of them, it just turned the ball fell.
I don't believe that break on the offensive end. Utah starting right 5 on the floor here to finish out
this is that pass
through the hands of Bogdanovic.
And then this
starts a break. Conley, Mitchell.
Okay.
The ball slapped away by Uber.
Anyways, that's impressive to me. Those are the only 2 turnovers for Donovan Mitchell, and that was fantastic. Rudy Gobert, his free throws was great. But anyways, moral of the story is Donovan Mitchell has a bad shooting night, but he's finding other ways to help the Jazz win. Only 2 turnovers, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. These rebounds were awesome. I actually felt like there are a few times where Donovan went for those offensive rebounds, and that, to me, is great. That's a way Donovan can impact the game to win the game and get some more points and rebounds, honestly. Could you imagine if he was averaging 6 and 6? That's all. Like, this is big time stuff, guys, because this will get back. This is like not something you're worried about. For whatever reason, the shot's just not falling. It's a little bit of a 3-4 game slump for Donovan. Let's take it. But this will improve. We know it will. This right here is a fluke. 62%. He's like a 90% free throw shooter. So this will improve. This right here is what you want to watch. And if this keeps getting better, it's amazing. And how many times? Let's just watch them together. Why not? Because it's kind of fun.
Puts 2 on top of the rim. Donovan behind the back. Joe winds up. Good look.
Pass with the
holding the pose. Give him a 2, 2-5. There's bogey.
See, these are
3
just like
balls
the
away.
passes, these simple,
Give him a 10.
open shots.
That
I mean, honestly, Donovan Mitchell just making a simple play is a big deal because so many times in the past,
Royce has been everywhere. That's 11 rebounds. Has not scored thus far. And the Jazz get a 3-pointer.
Donovan just making the simple pass in the right read is such a big deal. This is just a nice,
good shot,
beautiful pick and roll.
Bridges lets a 3-point shot fly. Donovan Mitchell rebounds and holds off Plumlee. Through traffic, here's bogey. 3.
And then also the game-winning 3-point shot. And that shot doesn't happen if Donovan Mitchell doesn't make that play, you know? So. Oh. Thank you, Robert. I didn't know that. Do I need to, maybe I need to lower the volume on those. I don't know. You know what? It's this desktop audio. Can you hear me now? Robert, can you hear me? Interesting. We'll have to play with that. Here, you guys, do you want to just like test with me? Let's just test this out. What else is interesting? So Mike Conley goes 4 for 13. Let's just look at Mike Conley's assists. But what if I... Is that it? Can you hear me better? Can you hear me? How does that sound? Or is that... Can you... I know there's a little delay with my live in the video. Does that work better, Robert? Oh, good. Okay, great. Well, see, these are like... Look at this pass. This is the same play that Donovan Mitchell's making. It's the simple read, although this is a little more complicated. Mike Conley can handle a little more complicated offense. But you know what? Offense doesn't need to be complicated to be effective. Wow, that's quite the... This is the generous assist is what it's called. Pass it to Mitchell. Mitchell makes... So I believe to get an assist, it's 2 bounces. So let's count this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so maybe 3. He gets 3 bounces to get the assist. Anyways, this kid right here... He doesn't even know what's going on. This is like every Jazz fan when they see a Jazz player in the wild. Well, what should I say? Out in public, like you can't like do anything but just look, you know, kind of deer in the headlights when you're like up next to one of these like superstars. It's like this is all of us. Anyways, that was amazing. Donovan is just like such a stud. He's so good with people. It's like, honestly, this guy is just such a blessing to have on the Jazz, guys. Appreciate Donovan Mitchell more and more. That's what we should do. Okay? Appreciate who Donovan Mitchell is and what he does for this team. Trent Forrest got the Jared Butler treatment tonight. Okay. I wonder, let's see. Robert says there's a balance on the sound. You could probably turn it up just a tiny bit. Okay. I'm kind of messing with the sound here. We'll find a medium. I think where we're at, maybe I'll put it up just a tiny bit. Maybe right there. I don't know. But anyways, what I want to talk about here is Trent Forrest is kind of struggling a little bit lately. This is a interesting stat line. 1 turnover, 0 for 0. And that's it. 1 turnover. That's what he produced. And he got the Jared Butler treatment. Jared Butler did not play. I wonder if at a certain point Jared Butler gets an actual chance. Is Quinn going to give him a chance? Because this is not helping anything. That's not doing anything. And this guy, I believe in Jared Butler, and I think he needs a chance. And you know who probably else probably wants to see a little bit of Jared Butler is probably Danny Ainge. You know why? Because if you're going to make a move at trade deadline, you want to know that this guy can actually produce. If push comes to shove, right? Play the Whiteside fadeaway. Let's see. So let's go. Whiteside made 2 buckets. Let's see. Tell me if my sound is good. This is just a putback. Oh, is that the fadeaway you're talking about? He gave the Cornholio to Plumlee. He got him in the Plumlees. And then let's see. And then this is, so that first one, that was the fadeaway, the and one. DW to CB, I'd like to see Danny Ainge have a sit down with Quinn about developing players. You know, NBA title coach to want to be NBA title coach. Yeah, I think that Quinn needs to play Jared Butler. Jared Butler deserves more time. Sound is good. Yes, that's it. Well, we'll leave it right there then. Perfect. That is where we will leave it. And you know what's cool about OBS is it kind of keeps my settings and everything the same. So shout out to OBS. I don't know, guys. I think that's pretty much everything, but I think it's time to start giving Jared Butler some run, because why not? He's not going to cause any worse problems than this. And I know Trent Forrest, you know what you're going to get, and that's always what Quinn does. Quinn defaults to 2 things. He defaults 1 to shooting. No matter how much we want to talk about defense, he doesn't care. It defaults to shooting first. And if they can defend second, that's awesome. And that's why I'm sure Quinn loves Royce O'Neal, because he gets the shooting plus the effort and the solid team defense on the other end. The second thing that he's going to default to is the known. Like, Quinn likes to know what he's going to get with a certain player. Jared Butler, I just think Quinn doesn't think he knows what he's going to get. And he doesn't think that Jared Butler is going to run his sets correctly. And to Quinn, his almighty sets are all that matters. Like, you know, if you don't run the sets perfectly, Quinn's going to be annoyed. Because Quinn's sets are all that matter to him. He's not that worried about getting Trent Forrest minutes or Jared Butler minutes in live NBA game against the Charlotte Hornets. But at a certain point, when Trent Forrest is just like not producing, you need to give this guy a chance. You just do. At a certain point, you lose credibility as a coach if you don't allow these guys to make their way and get on the floor. And honestly, if Rudy Gay's struggling like this, shouldn't Eric Paschall get a little bit of time? That's the double standard sometimes that drives me crazy. You know, that's the stuff that makes me nuts, is when you're getting just inconsistent treatment of specific guys. And so that's why I just really want to see Jared Butler. And how's Jared Butler going to get better unless he's playing against NBA talent with NBA players next to him? The G League's great, and you can get some run, and you can start learning sets and getting some reps in certain ways, but you're playing against G League guys, and you're playing with G League guys. And guess what? I've covered the G League, and the G League's fun, and I like to go see the stars. But guess what? The G League is a gentleman's agreement amongst many G League players. You will get your turn to get buckets, and I will get mine. And that way we can kind of make our way into the league. And it's like a lot of your turn, my turn with guys. There's a lot of guys trying to just make a name, try to, dream. It's their dream to make the NBA. So guys are going to go out there and try to get theirs. It's not the same as being on the floor with Rudy Gobert and Royce O'Neal and Mike Conley and guys like that are making shots and setting you up, high level elite players that will, if you set them up or if you're on the floor with them, maybe they give you the spacing you need to improve, like I promise you, if Jared Butler gets a little bit of time with actual rotation players on the Jazz, he's going to have moments where he looks really good. He will. But if you just put him in the last minute of games against, you're just going to see Jared Butler try to get a shot off. It's not helping anybody. And when you don't have him on the floor and you have Trent Forrest doing this, I mean, you're not creating any sort of fan here, I'll tell you that, So I think this is something to watch because it was rough and it's been rough more often than not lately. He did have one nice night the other night, which was great, and Quinn obviously gave him run because, Quinn gives run to him when he plays well, but I don't know. The inconsistency with Quinn and rotations is what drives me nuts. Joe Ingles can go out there and he can't guard anything, and he goes 2 for 7 and is untouchable. He actually had a pretty decent night, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, 6 points, but I mean, that's 26 minutes. I don't know. And that's non-defensive minutes, by the way. Like, that's why in this win, Joe Ingles is a plus or minus just a 0. So if he's putting up this type of efficiency with 0 defense, that's what's tough. He does have the 4 assists and 5 rebounds, but in a shared system like the Jazz have, and go look at other box scores. Honestly, guys, we look at box scores every night, and you start to see little trends. Like, lots of teams have guys that get 4 and 5 assists because they just move the ball. If you're moving the ball and things like that, you'll get a couple assists. And some of these are Joe Ingles creating them, which is great. And some of this is just being in a Jazz spread offense with lots of great shooters and Rudy Gobert. So I don't know. This is stuff we're going to just keep watching, but we'll see what happens. I'm honestly fascinated with Danny Ainge. We'll just end with that. Danny Ainge to me is just like, who knows what he's thinking, but these last 3 games, I doubt he's coming away from this going, what am I doing? I doubt he's coming away from this thinking, oh, this is the championship roster that's good, that I've been looking for. I think there are more things he's probably thinking about fixing than keeping the same, if you know what I mean. So, you know what? Let's that. Let's get back to this. Back to this. And let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. All right, let's give a shout out to Baby Elliot Matson, Zintas, the X marks the spot, Jordan the GOAT, Besserell, Ryan Perry, the legend, Joshua Hansen, the Danish destroyer, and one, Anton Warren, Ezekiel Raisibe, the man from down under, JT Buckets Wardell. Let's see. I've already screwed it up. Austin R. Grant, editor extraordinaire. Eric C. The C stands for champion. Donald Schooley, schooling all of us. Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo. Lee Christensen, driving the lane. Justin Time, Justin Ty H. Patrick Akuba, the connoisseur. Robert Hall of Fame, and DW Jazz going all the way. Guys, I'm just like kind of curious. Let's give just props to our longest standing members: DW, Patrick, Jorge, Robert, Justin Ty H, Ezekiel Raisibe with 10 months. You all have the golden basketball as well. Donald Schooley, Lee Christensen, Ryan Perry, DW to CB, Elliot Matson, Eric C, Austin R. Grant, JT Buckets Wardell, and one Anton Warren. You guys have the golden basketball, baby. The golden ball. Shout out to the golden balls, baby. You guys are amazing, and you make this freaking awesome, and I appreciate it. So, okay, it's my last update. All right, so anyways, if you're new to the channel, if you're a Jazz fan, And you haven't subscribed already? What's going on? Why haven't you subscribed yet? This is the Jazz channel. This is better than anything else out there. Believe me, I've seen it. I've interviewed with David Locke. He hurt my feelings. And he told me how here's a story time at the end of the show. We're just going to say the truth and whatever we want. All right. Want a story time? 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, I was laid off from my job at Richter 7 in ad agencies. I hated that job. I hated that place. If anyone works there, you know what? I bless you. You are amazing. I did not enjoy it. But anyways, I did not want to know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I didn't want to do that anymore. So guess what? I started like 2 things. I tried to create a gaming store, card shop / food. It was going to be a game store. It was called Salt City Games, and I had a logo made, and I made a business plan, and I tried to get an SBA loan to create my own comic book store. I scouted a location. I met with a guy there, learned about the lease, tried to do the numbers to make everything work. It didn't work out. After like 2 months of work and trying really hard, I eventually had my sit down for the SBA loan, presented everything I had, and they said no and turned me down. And it was a very sad day, and I was super bummed. Robert Hall, $2. Story time is the best. Thank you, sir. This is the origin story of the Hoops Nerd channel, actually. I also did another thing. I started a YouTube channel. I was desperate to just do something that I wanted, and I enjoyed the Jazz. I was in the SLC Dunk community, wrote some posts there, and I started a YouTube channel, and I made a video. First video was why the Warriors aren't going to win with Kevin Durant, and I posted it to Reddit, and I had 4 people tell me that I should be unalive, is what they told me. And it was my first time getting real interaction with a relatively large group of people. Now I'm dead inside. I don't care. People say mean things to me all the time. All the time. All the time. And you just learn to just like ignore it. You block it. On Twitter, I just ignore people because I just don't want to give people the satisfaction of the block, because people want that. Guess what? I just ignore you. Bing bong. Bing bong. That's the sound for ignores. Anyways, I started a YouTube channel, and I started to do a few things here and there, and it was really kind of crappy. But guess what? SLC Dunk really liked it, and a big shout out to Amar. I don't know if Amar's watching or it will watch this video, but Amar's the best, and still in contact with Amar. If anyone out there is wondering about Amar, he's fine. He's out there. I would love for him to start tweeting again. But anyways, Amar saw it, really liked it. Big shout out to Michael Lohman. So what happened is, you want to know? Okay, this is just going off the rails. We're just going. I was doing fan posts for SLC Dunk. I was doing my YouTube channel. I had a podcast that I was doing called Basement Heroes. It's fun to say that name again. I love that name, by the way. A Basement Heroes, which was a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and I had like 25 patrons. People loved it. I wrote the whole stories. I wrote the campaign. I was the dungeon master. I had my audio equipment. We recorded everything. I did sound effects. It was a lot of fun. It was called Basement Heroes, and so I was doing that. I did a YouTube channel, and I was delivering pizzas while I looked for another job. And all of a sudden I get this call from Michael Lohman, and before that though, I wrote a story. So has anyone ever played Clash Royale, the cell phone game? Have you played Clash Royale? Well, I played Clash Royale, and I searched a certain player that was on the Jazz at this time. His name was Gordon Hayward. And I found out that he played. I learned he had just started playing Clash Royale. Gordon Hayward created his own guild, and I joined his guild. And there was 30 people in it, and half the people didn't know who Gordon Hayward was. G Time 20 or something like that was his name in that game. And guess what? Once I joined, he immediately made it a private guild, and I was in the guild. And I was playing with Gordon Hayward, and guess what? He would chat with the guild, and you would chat back, and everyone was like, Gordon Hayward, blah, blah. And anyways, I was in this guild with Gordon Hayward, so anytime Gordon Hayward said anything, I screenshotted it, and I had like my whole phone had all these like screenshots of like Gordon Hayward's messages, and they were funny. They were like, "My wife's gonna be mad at me. I gotta get off, guys. Talk to you later. Gotta go, guys. If I don't, wife's gonna be mad at me." That was like his chat messages. But one of the interesting messages was, someone asked him like, "Hey, you're gonna leave Utah, right?" Because it was like right before free agency, and you can imagine I was like paying attention to what he was saying, and he said SLC is home. That's like all he said. And so in my mind, I'm like, did I just get a scoop? Did I just scoop what happened with Gordon Hayward? Anyways, I messaged Amar on Twitter and told him I've got this cool, like weird, unique story. And I wrote a whole thing for SLC Dunk, and it blew up. It blew up. And screenshot Hoops Nerd. Yeah. Anyways, I wrote that story, and like within like 2-3 months of doing fan posts and things like that, I get a call from Michael Lohman. They made me a staff member for SLC Dunk, and I was writing down beats. And you know what? One of the things Michael did, and I got to give props to Michael because he kind of gave me a lot of, you know, the inspiration to do what I'm doing. But he said, James, can you do halftime shows? This started off as halftime shows on Facebook. And you can go to Facebook, to the SLC Dunk Facebook page, and go to the videos, and you can go down and you can look at me 30 pounds heavier amidst major depression, having no job delivering pizzas. I gained like weight because you're eating free pizza at Papa John's. That's where I worked. I worked at Papa John's that's on 7th and I believe it's 33rd. It's the one that's across from the 7-Eleven. And there's like a Shawarma King or something there. Anyways, I worked at that Papa John's there. And anyways, I wrote that story. The halftime shows started to get traction, and I started to be okay at it. Look, if you go watch those are terrible. But I love them in a way because it's like the origins of what this is. And I learned how to do this, what I'm doing now, there. And I lost some weight. I got some better equipment. I've got my Shure SM7B $400 microphone, which, by the way, you guys helped. So much of what you guys give to me, I put back into the channel to try to grow. I've got my ring light there. I've got my HD mic. I've got my ultra wide monitor here. I've got my double monitor here. My lighting. I've got my side light here. I actually am supposed to have a light right here, but because I do a green screen, I don't do it. You're supposed to have 3-way lighting. I've learned how to do all sorts of things. The sound. I've done YouTube Academy. We've had sponsorships on this channel. Multiple ones. I had sponsorships on the SLC Dunk podcast with different groups. So anyways, this thing has grown and it's taken time. And my style is to just dive in. I just do it. That's one thing that's I've always done is I just do it. But anyways, long story short, I started doing halftime shows, and you realize that very quickly, like halftime shows had an even shorter shelf life than post-game shows because it's literally like the 30 minutes before the next half. So it's only for the people who are live. But we'd still have like 10, 15 people on a halftime show on the SLC Dunk Facebook page. This started out as the SLC Dunk post-game show and halftime show. Now it's the Hoops Nerd channel. And now it's Hoops Nerd Jazz. And we have Hoops Nerd NBA as my second channel. By the way, those who are watching, please go subscribe to the Hoops Nerd NBA channel. The link is right there. This is the Jazz channel. We talked about it at the beginning if you're late to the show. This is the Hoops Nerd Jazz channel now. Just Jazz. And the other channel is Hoops Nerd NBA. So go subscribe if you want to be a part of that. I would appreciate it. But anyways, that's the origin of the Hoops Nerd channel. Anyways, it kind of coincides with what John Boy does. And we talked about it. And I want this to be kind of like the NBA version of that. and I'll do my own thing, and I'm kind of wanting to find out what I do best and what my flair and my style is, but I think we can do a great job, and I think it's fun, and I think people really like it. But yes, link in the description. Go subscribe, guys. It'll be a lot of fun, and I would really appreciate it. I'm going to tweak the logo. This logo I've got is not the final one. Yes, like and subscribe, absolutely. But if we could grow that channel, and guess what? If I could do this for a living, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just talk. How long have we gone tonight? You guys probably need to go to bed. You should probably go to bed, guys. But I used to do 8-bit videos. That's one of the ways I grew on Twitter. I don't really care about Twitter anymore that much. I get on there to like comment, but like I don't know. I enjoy Twitter, and that's where I usually am during games. Like if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's great. Link in the bio. I tweet during games, but if I'm late, you know what I do during games? I get on my elliptical in my room. In my bedroom over there. I have a TV set up in the corner of the room, and I bought a nice elliptical, and I get on the elliptical and I watch the Jazz, and it's the best work. It's the best diet program out there. You want to lose weight? You want to have motivation to work out? Get an elliptical and get on the elliptical during Jazz games and do an hour to an hour and a half on the elliptical. You will lose weight. Yeah. If you eat like healthy and get on your elliptical during the Jazz games, you'll lose weight. It's called the Jazz Diet Plan, and maybe we can do a video about it. That'd be kind of a funny video, right? But anyways, that's the origin story of the Hoopsner channel. Maybe I'll do a video for that on this channel and just talk about it. But anyways, that's what this channel is. That's how it's grown, and I want it to keep growing. I'm in my house now that I have eventually been able to get into. I didn't ever think I'd own a house, and I own a house, guys, and I'm pretty happy. And you guys are a major part of what has made me so happy. Anyways, so like we said at the beginning of the show, I am really happy to just have this be a Jazz channel, and then I'm going to also have the NBA channel. The Jazz channel, this will mostly be the live streams and the post-game shows and things like that. Reactions. I'm just going to go live on here. This is my live channel, honestly, where we talk. And if you want to talk to me, just join the channel so you can be a part of the chat. Just be a rookie. And if you want to have your nickname and be a part of the show, join the All-Stars. I'm going to adjust those things, guys. I don't have a lot of time to do the one-on-ones. It's just really hard for me to fit it in, and so I'm going to adjust that. I hope I don't offend you guys too much. It didn't seem like all that many people were able to even join them. As many times as I've tried, it's just not something that seems all that like people are that worried about it. But maybe we'll do them in the future. I don't know. But for now, that's what I want this channel to be. Jazz focused, live streams, instant reactions, things like that, where I just talk with you guys, because that seems to be the most fun thing for this channel. And then that channel is going to be produced content, more like recorded, saved, SEO'd, prompt, timely, searchable content. This channel doesn't have very good shelf life. Once the game's over, that's it. And it's not going to grow until the next video, But the other channel, I want to have searchable content where it's like videos can like actually grow. So if I do a video about Jonathan Kuminga and it's just why Jonathan Kuminga is great, that will have shelf life. This channel is more instant reactions, interactions, live streams, things like that. And maybe we can do live shows during games. Why not? Because it's kind of fun. I don't know. But anyways, guys, thanks for the donations. And if you're new here, like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new here and you're still watching, I don't know what to say. Thank you. But like and subscribe. Join the channel too to support it. I really appreciate it. Things are going really well, and I'm really at peace with what I want to do from now on, because I just feel like this is the natural growth path that I want to be on, and I'm really happy about that. So anyways, guys, we've given a shout out to the All-Stars. Thank you for being here tonight. This was a long one, but I just wanted to talk to the guys that watch the show and let them know what I want to do. And I appreciate you guys a lot, and I will talk to you next time.